What's been your most severe injury? Most severe injury. Okay, the first one that springs to mind is essentially a cut that I had on my head. Essentially cut my head open, or whatever you would call it, on a scooter. We were on the way to McDonald's in Chesham. This was probably 14 years ago, something like that. Maybe 15 years ago. It's semantics, that's stupid, it's one number difference. Anyway, I was on my yellow scooter that I got for Christmas, scooting along, and I basically mishit one of those long kind of drains with the slits in that go all the way down like the car park. I hit it wrong, the wheel got caught in it and I fell onto the floor. The bloody scooter jumped up onto the handlebars, so it erected itself, and the platform that you stand on swang round with, you know, speed and force, and then doink, 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 banged me in the head. Horrible. I never had like a proper, like a serious blood injury before. When I say blood injury, that sounds stupid, but like an injury that actually caused blood to come out, and blood was bloody well coming out. It was pouring out. So I was shitting myself, I was terrified. My mother basically got some kitchen roll from somewhere, or she got something, tissue or whatever, from her bag, put it on my head, and you know, she was incredibly worried. And yeah, we went to the A&E, and luckily I didn't have to have stitches, because that would not good with needles, so that would have scared me. But they used glue in the end to do it up, and yeah, I've got quite a large scar, probably about 1.5 inch scar on my head towards the front. I tried finding it on a video once, but I couldn't find it, so otherwise I'd show you now. Right, don't know if you can you, if I dip my head, can you, is there anything there? I don't think you can, like, trying to get different angles. But yeah, I've also basically, I think I broke my toe. I needed the toilet very, very badly, and my mum exited the toilet, and my sister, playing some kind of, not a prank on me, just being a dickhead really, stood in the doorway, and I ran towards the toilet. She stood in the doorway, in my way basically. I ran into her. It is her fault, but I did run into her, but it is her fault. It absolutely is her fault. And yeah, I broke my toe. The sad thing about that is that I was on the bed for not crying, that sounds pathetic, making negative noises for about 30 minutes before my family actually realised or thought that something might be wrong. What's your employment history? Where have I worked, in other words? Okay, so let's start off. My first ever job was Waitrose. I worked on the fresh food counters basically in Waitrose. My main counters were, or certainly the one that I started off on, was the delicatessen counter. So it was cleaning bowls, cleaning the ham cutter, serving customers of course, and my work ethic is, you know, despite not potentially having enjoyed all of my jobs, I have a good work ethic. I don't skive off, I work hard, and I do things to the best of my ability. So I do think I was a pretty great worker at Waitrose actually. I like food obviously, so I was relatively interested in the matter at hand. And then I also moved across to the patisserie counter as well. I think I also had to serve on, or I had to man the cheese counter for one day once. I had no training on it whatsoever, and one of the key things in Waitrose is you get product training. And yeah, so people asked a few things, and I was just like, I don't know, mate, it's cheese, isn't it? But no, I actually, you know, it was not a terrible job. It was kind of cool, and there were some perks to being on the patisserie counter, certainly. My next job, which I actually did at the same time as Waitrose, was I worked in a comic book store. At the time it was called Fanboy Comics. It later became Action Comics, and I believe it's now closed, or no longer in operation. But yeah, you know, it was dusting shelves, getting comics in order and whatnot, and just tending to the people and using the till and whatnot, and that was alright. Then I got, you know, a proper job, a full-time job, which was Halifax Bank of Scotland as a customer services operative. Then I worked there for about 4 or 5 years before I got made redundant, and then after that I worked for under 2 months, about 6 weeks, at Schwarzkopf, the blackhead, well, it stands for blackhead in German, and they make hair products. And I'm not sure why I just didn't get to grips with it properly. I don't know if it was a matter of training, because it wasn't all that long ago. It was only about 5 years ago that I worked there, but for some reason I was just weak to it, and I quit very soon after joining, and I was quitting as, you know, looking back, somewhat of a pathetic way. I didn't actually tell the company that I was leaving, Schwarzkopf. I told the agency, the temping agency I was working for, that I was leaving. I actually rang them up in tears on one of the days because I just hated it. I mean, one thing that happened, you know, which might be indicative of why I didn't like it, but perhaps not enough to quit, but this was one thing that I bloody hated. My manager came across and said, "Have you got your email inbox sorted out yet?" I said, "No, I have not. Haven't got access to the secondary inbox," or whatever it was. And she said, "Oh, okay, we'll have to get you set up on it. Can you come in an hour early tomorrow?" Which would mean coming in at 7 rather than 8. And I said, "Yeah, that's not a problem at all. I can do that. We can get it sorted." She then, this is completely true, by the way. This is absolutely true, and this is something that happened. And I am not fluffing the details to make it sound worse than it was. This is what happened, I promise you. She proceeded to sit on, I think she was on my desk, or she was in, I basically sat in an area of 4 seats with 3 women, I'm not a woman. And she sat there on, I think she was on my desk, or she was perched in this area, and she talked for about 15 to 20 minutes. She was just gossiping. It wasn't work related, it was gossip, and it was bullshit, really. It was bullshit. And, you know, at the time, didn't give a shit. Didn't, you know, I was just, didn't faze me at all. You know, she's the boss, she's the manager, whatever. You know, I'm getting on with my work, ting ting ting. Everything's fine. So anyway, I came in at 7 AM. She was not there. She came in probably about 7:30. She was in her office for about 20-25 minutes. So of course, if you can do maths, it's now 10 to 8. That's a joke. It's now 5 to 8. So she comes over about 3 minutes to 8, which is my normal starting time. She comes over, she said, "Oh, let's sort your email inbox out. Good morning, blah, blah, blah." I was like, "Yeah, good morning. This is bullshit. What the fuck is going on?" Anyway, she leaned over and she literally click, 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 drag, done. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. It took about 10 to 15 seconds for her to do it. I'm absolutely not joking. Even saying it back, I don't believe myself. That's completely true. And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? You've got me in an hour early to do that when you could have just fucking done it anyway. You could have fucking done it yesterday when you were bitching about people. Anyway, so yeah, I jacked that job in. And my current job, my new job, which I've had for 5 years now, I've actually recently celebrated my 5th anniversary of being there, is customer services for one of the country's stockbrokers, the United Kingdom stockbrokers. I work in the customer services department. Started off as a customer services call handler, essentially, and I'm now a team leader and manager, contact team manager. And yeah. And in any of those roles, have you ever abused your position? No, mixed. Where I currently am, no. Halifax Bank of Scotland, no. Not really anything to abuse there unless you want to go to jail. Comic store, I think I might have got a few discounts, but it wasn't abusing my position, it was just like perks. Waitrose, yes, did abuse my position. Somewhat alluded to it earlier in that I said that the patisserie counter had perks. It's not theft, really. It's not theft. But, okay, so at the end of the night, if there were products there that were going out of date, you would pour them all onto the scales, you would weigh them up, and you would put a special sticker on them that said waste, basically. And it had like a specific cost and like a barcode or something. I think you had to put a duplicate of the sticker in the waste book. It was something like that. So waste was recorded. if there are, you know, there's no funny business, there's no shenanigans. If there's some tiny little gingerbread men or some, you know, chocolate gingerbread men that are going to be thrown away, and there's like 5 of them, mini ones, not going to make hardly any difference to the weight. No one's going to buy them. I wouldn't have bought them anyway. You know, just pop them in your apron, and then you fold up, when you're getting changed, you fold up your apron, and you just take them home. Is that theft? Certainly frowned upon. Don't do it. I never got caught. This is the first time I'm saying it publicly. Probably a stupid thing to do. But it's not a reflection of my character now. I probably, no, I wouldn't do that kind of thing now. I couldn't. I don't work anywhere near gingerbread men. One of the other things I did was, this is probably worse. Even though this is actually legitimate, this is completely legitimate, my way around it is perhaps not as legitimate. So basically, there was a process during the night, and this went for the delicatessen counter as well as the patisserie counter. I don't tend to remember doing this on the thing with the delicatessen counter is that you were usually there with someone else. It's quite a large counter, so it'd usually be 2 of you. Patisserie counter is very small, so it'd usually be 1 of you, and so you control everything a bit more. More responsibility, probably ill-placed responsibility, but in any case. So there was a process of reducing food items. I had a particular likening for a product called the white chocolate and raspberry gatto. It was a very soft, creamy white chocolate flavour pudding with like a sponge base with amaretto and little biscuits in and little raspberries dotted within. Fantastic product. They still do it, I think. Had one about a year ago. Delicious product. They've worsened it actually because they've given it a biscuit base. So much better with a sponge base, much lighter. It's too dense now, so they've ruined it basically. It's still nice, but they've ruined it. Anyway, I had a particular likening for this product. Not like a werewolf thing. Likening. But I really liked this product. And anyway, as I was saying, there was a reduction process. So you get in around half 4, 5 o'clock. Shop closes at about 8, half 7, something like that. So you get in, you have a look, what's going out of date, what will need to be thrown away if it's not purchased, sold or whatever, and you consider a reduction. This gatto I think was £1.19 per slice. So you get in, maybe around 5 o'clock, you're like, there's what, 3 hours left until we close, or 2 hours left until we close. Let's get it down to £1.09. It's got the reduced sticker on there. People are going to be going around and they're like, oh, it's reduced, I'll pick a slice up. Okay, then you get to 6 o'clock and you're like, okay, we still haven't sold it. There's still there's still 3 slices left. Let's reduce it down to 79p. This is still, you know, it's not 50% off, but it's a good reduction. And then another half hour, 40 minutes goes by, still not sold. Okay, this is battle stations now. Got to get rid of it, but we can't be giving it away for silly money. So let's drop it to 39p, and then if they don't sell, then they don't sell. That is the official process. What was my process? So I get in 5 o'clock or so, and I see that they're going out of date. That's fantastic. Great news for me. Leave them there. Leave them as is. We're not reducing them yet. Okay, we get to 6 o'clock, an hour before close, shall we say. Okay, we don't want to take the piss too much, so let's reduce it to £1.09. 10p off. We're testing the water, we're showing people it's reduced. You know, we get to 10 or 5 minutes until close. We're like, shitting hell, it's getting tasty now. Let's give them a real good bargain. 99p, reduced to 99p, 20p off. But you know, the store is only got now the real diehards, the people who are looking for a bargain. So you got to be careful of them. But there's scarce people in the store by this point, and they don't have time to be perusing. Store's about to close. They're doing their shopping. And yeah, I don't reduce it again. 1 minute until close. Reduced to 9p each. Oh well, I'll have all 3 slices. I did that numerous occasions, and I'm happy that I did. Probably why I'm fat. What's your biggest achievement in life? Probably an obvious one. Probably not YouTube in general. I suppose YouTube in general, possibly. Yeah, I'm very proud of what I've done online, in my online life, if you will. But Food Review UK is probably my biggest achievement. You know, I've built a YouTube channel which is closing in, probably by the time this video, in fact definitely by the time this video goes up. It's got 8,000 subscribers, and it is the UK's #1 food review channel. I think that the content is great. I think it's, you know, at the very least informative, usually quite funny and entertaining, and well produced. I think that I saw a gap in the market. I recognised a gap in the market, and I put myself at the top of that gap. This has produced people, not imitators, but people who have been inspired by it. That's incredible. That's an incredible achievement, and so that, yeah, Food Review UK is probably my biggest achievement.